Motherfucker, folks. Welcome to today's episode of Afternoon Smoke. I'm your host, Rodney Dangermouthe. And today, I wasn't going to do this. I just sat down to take a peek at my analytics, see how the things were going. And when I click over to the news, the first thing I see is this bullshit. The Trump-Con feud, how we got here. How we fucking got here is you fucking people spent 4 days parading this poor fucking kid's parents on TV to make an anti-Trump statement. And Trump said, that's some bullshit. Fuck that guy. Now, granted, he did say some ignorant shit about the kid's mom not being able to talk at the DNC because she was a woman and whatnot. You know, they're Americans, not fucking Saudi Arabians. So anyway, you know, there's that. But how we got here, let's see, what do they say? They say, this is USA Today, the Trump-Con feud, how we got here. The father of Muslim American Army captain killed in Iraq offered a challenge during the speech at Democratic convention. What's the fucking challenge? No. God damn it. This is what I hate about this shit. I don't want this to fucking play. You know what I mean? I don't need the audio from whatever the fuck's about to come on through
Donald.
here. There we go. Father of Muslim American Army captain killed in Iraq offered to challenge Trump. As a feud between the Republican nominee and Kaiser and Ghazala Khan, parents of fallen soldier, Hamayan Khan. See, this is what pisses me off about this. This is how you fucking know that doesn't have shit to do with celebrating the soldier or celebrating the soldier's sacrifice. It's got nothing to do with that. And you know, because in the lead of the article, we get this. As feud between Republican nominee and Kaiser and Ghazala Khan, in quotation or in parentheses, the parents of a fallen soldier. Of a fallen soldier. This has nothing to do with the fallen soldier. It has everything to do with the fucking spectacle of making Trump out to be a big xenophobe and a fucking hate monger, while simultaneously USA Today parades this poor dead person's family on fucking CNN as political props for the Clinton campaign. It's disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. So now they say, as the feud grows between them, Donald Trump is being criticized by Republicans and Democrats alike. How exactly do we get to this point? Let's break it down. Okay, USA, let's break it down. Let's see if at any point in this breakdown they take responsibility for the incredible propagation of this fucking... It's literally like WWE or F or whatever the fuck they call it now. Let's see. Okay, so Donald Trump called for a temporary ban on Muslims coming into the United States. So Kaiser Khan, son of Hamayan Khan, was killed in Iraq in 2004, spoke out against the frontrunner in an interview with Vocative. Vocative is one of these real 50-50 kind of fucking news outlets, or documentary outlets, where some of the stuff they do is pretty fair, accurate, and balanced. Usually it's when covering things like technology, hackers, Ed Snowden, shit like that. When it comes to social issues, they're literally right up there with BuzzFeed and Gawker at this point. And it's kind of sad to see when I first discovered Vocative was a genuinely, by definition of the term, not politically progressive news outlet. They brought facts from the dark web and shit out. I mean, they were pretty interesting. But now they're pandering to the anti fucking Trump sentiment by parading this guy Kaiser Khan, and they got hella views for it, I'm sure. And he says, we're proud American citizens. It's the values of this country that brought us here, not our religion. Trump's position on these issues do not represent those values. No, his position on this issue has nothing to do with people like you, Kaiser Khan. Trump has got a very terrible plan for keeping the radical Wahhabist jihadists out of the country. See, so while you and your son and your wife were decent, fucking Allah-fearing Americans who just wanted to come here for prosperity and light, and that's great, and we welcome people like you, there is a growing, exponentially growing presence of radical Wahhabist jihadists within your overall religious community. You understand? And we as an American people would like to limit the amount of fucking presence they have in this country. Now, the solution is probably education. And like the Muslims in France who went out and stood in front of the church that was attacked and the priest who was killed for being a priest, some kind of solidarity on coming out against the jihadists would be a start. So instead of coming out against Donald Trump, who, although his plan is terrible and non-enforceable, is genuinely just trying to keep the country safe. All right, brief interruption. The guy's just trying to make the fucking country safe from jihadists. Now, his plan, non-enforceable, not a good idea. Banning fucking people based on a religious ideology is impossible. I'm not suggesting we vote Trump. I'm just saying, take a look at the amount of time and the energy being spent by the White House, the DNC, the HRC, and the fucking modern news media to literally demonize Trump. Not to fucking expose negativity about a candidate, because if they were interested in doing that, we'd be talking about Arkansas and fucking destruction of evidence. But we're not talking about any of that. Instead, we're talking about Kaiser fucking Khan and his feud with Donald Trump that is entirely fueled by your pre-programmed emotional response syndrome. I say that a lot if you're just tuning in and you're not familiar. A pre-programmed emotional response syndrome is what I describe as the phenomenon of people who are falling victim to the neurolinguistic programming presented to us in modern media, in modern popular culture. Okay? If hearing Michelle Obama say she wakes up every morning in a house built by slaves tugs at your heartstrings instead of your logic strings to go, hold on, wait a minute, the White House was built by a shitload of different people. I'm sorry, what is she talking about? Instead of saying that, you're like, oh my god, that's so true. Oh, how horrible. I'm verklempt for her. You're having an emotional response. One that she anticipated when she spoke those fucking words. Just like when I use the word nigga, I know a good majority of you are going to have a pre-programmed emotional response that says he must be racist. I'm going to disregard all logic that allows me to get to that conclusion. I'm going to react and respond emotionally, and I'm going to say he must be racist. It's pre-programmed emotional response syndrome. And the beautiful thing is, the only thing that's required to heal one of this horrible affliction is a recognition of its existence and its presence in your own life. I digress. Okay, so in this article, they quote, I'm guessing quotes from the vocative video, where he says, we came here to, chase the prosperity and the values of America, not the values of our religion. And our poor son died in Iraq. We, quote, still wonder what made him take those 10 steps towards the car. I'm assuming the car that blew up. Yeah, suicide bombing. Maybe that's the point where all the values, all the service to country, all the things he learned in this country kicked in. It was those values that made him take those 10 steps. Those 10 steps told us we did not make a mistake moving to this country. These were the values he wanted to adopt, not religious values, human values, he said. And I'm not saying that this guy shouldn't be getting some kind of recognition or that his kid shouldn't get recognition. Fuck, that's great. I think that we should fucking, instead of grandstanding dick faces like the American Sniper guy, Chris Kyle. It would be super if we could get more recognition for people like Hamyan Khan, who fucking apparently was killed in a suicide bombing. That would be great. I would be in support of that, but that's got nothing to do with this. Nobody gives a shit about this poor dead kid. I mean, his parents do, I'm sure. And I'm sure there's parents are enraged by what Trump said, but that's because they're responding emotionally out of grief instead of logic, which is what's required when choosing a fucking president. This shit should honestly concern you guys. I mean, fuck. I don't know if I can show it. I've got to do some research on how this fair use shit works, but there's a new Simpsons ad, basically, that comes on, and it's who do you want to take that 3 a.m. call for the ready room, to get to the situation room. It's the red phone, the shit's hitting the fan. And first it opens up with Bill Clinton answering the phone, all tired and cuckold and shit, and is like, oh, yeah, I'll be right there. And they're like, no, sir, we need Mrs. Clinton. And he's like, oh, yeah, here you go, wifey, it's for you. And she's like, it's always going to be for me, right? And then she goes to the situation room. They then spend the next, 3 minutes of the clip making fun of Donald Trump. He gets the call, and he's just like, I don't have time for this shit, I'm tweeting. And then he's tweeting about, I don't remember who, probably Debbie Wasserman Schultz or something. Some other shit, or Elizabeth Warren or something. But he's out there, he's tweeting and tweeting and tweeting, being an ignorant dick face, as he may very well be accurately portrayed as. Then he finally takes a call for the ready room, and he's like, fine, I'll be there. Then they show his fucking crew come in, they give him makeup, they put a fucking dog on his head for a toupee, they spray paint him orange, then they show the clock roll, and it's 4 hours later. Here's fucking, excuse me. Here's Donald Trump, ready to go, and he calls him up like, all right, I'm on my way, and they're like, it's too late, it's already went down, And then Marge, turns to Homer, all ready for sexy time, and is like, all right, baby, you ready to bone? Who are you gonna vote for? And he's like, Trump? And she's like, well, if you're going to vote for Trump, I'm not fucking you. And puts the dog between her and him. And then Homer looks at the fucking camera and says, that's how I became a Democrat. Ha 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 ha. Watch The Simpsons on Sundays. Okay? That's not a fucking commercial. Let me just go ahead and throw this out for you, folks, in case you were unaware. The Simpsons don't need advertising. They really don't. Not any more than the advertising that they've used for the last 20 years. Watch The Simpsons at 8 on Sunday, 4 p.m., 5 p.m., syndicated on Fox Local, You don't need a fucking commercial. That's a fucking mind fuck, okay? The new Simpsons short is, it's direct propaganda. And you need to look at the fact that The Simpsons is developing direct propaganda to fight Trump. You need to ask why. Because when you look at things logically, he's the soft turd, she's the diarrhea. Which one's easier to clean up? Again, my opinion is stay home that day. I don't think you should bother going to the polls. I think the only real way that we can protest this is non-compliance and non-cooperation. But you'll go and you'll vote anyway. So it won't matter. Clinton will win. It won't. The votes won't even be recounted because all of this fervency when Clinton wins, everybody will be like, "Oh yeah, that was obvious. Nobody really wanted Trump. Just a couple dumb rednecks." This is the psychological engineering. This is the culture development engineering of societies. It's 1984, folks, and they are spending lots and lots of money, energy on it. To me, that's it's pretty incredible, frankly. You know, The Simpsons just released a little short video last week about Pokemon Go, and it was kind of a riff on our society. You know, here's Homer Simpson playing Pokemon Go, trying to catch a Squirtle or some shit, and Bart is literally playing in a lion's den at the zoo. Now, this is some subtle shit, folks, but consider for a moment the cultural temperature. We just had two kids attacked at theme parks by animals. Got that gorilla that got killed and the alligator that ate that baby. Here's Homer Simpson ignoring his kid playing Pokemon Go while the kid's playing in a fucking lion's den. Some sick shit. Just saying. And I won't lie, when I watched it, I laughed. I thought it was funny, and I was like, yeah, this is a great perspective on all these dumb shits playing Pokemon Go right now. And yeah, I make that judgment call. I'm sorry, but Pokemon Go had about 3-4 hour shelf life tops between the fucking crashing, the connection failures, the phone freezing, the GPS themed fucking robberies. And the one thing about it that made it exceptionally social, due to safety and security reasons in a physical world, they had to fucking remove. It ain't just falling into fucking fountains and shit you gotta worry about. End up falling in your fucking face or watching your kid tumble into the lion's fucking den at Chicago Zoo. It is interesting though for the Simpsons to have been playing Pokemon Go at the zoo. They, I suppose, would have had to have gone to Portland. Would probably been the closest zoo. I think Portland has a zoo. I know Eugene doesn't. Springfield doesn't. Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, fuck, folks. I don't want to talk about this much more, but it's it's pretty fucking crazy how fucking hard they are pushing in terms of psychological engineering, creating your thoughts for you. And that's why I do this show, is to make people aware of the double think and the newspeak that's not just put out there, but extrapolated upon, and it grows almost organically on its own. The point where Huxley was right, the people will do their own thought policing. So, that's some smoke to think on, folks. I hope that you enjoyed today's afternoon smoke. I'm sorry to say our community has gone down by 2. I do believe that the fuck Michelle Obama, while gained us a subscriber, also lost us a few subscribers. Frankly, that's okay. We're here to promote freedom of speech. Freedom of speech does require a certain level of thick skin. And for those out there who lack the skin thickness, well, probably aren't going to enjoy thinking and smoking with Rodney Dangermouthe. But if you do like what you see, and you are intrigued and you want to participate, I fucking hate my neighbors, folks. Who the fuck mows their lawn at 12:30? Do they not know that mowing your lawn at fucking high noon kills your lawn? This motherfucker's gonna try to come to my house next and mow my fucking lawn. We gotta put a stop to that shit. Anyway, I fucking digress. You're not told enough in this world that you're loved, so let me tell you now that I love you. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I'm Rodney Dangermouthe. This has been Smoke2ThinkOn. And if you dig it, like and subscribe and share it with your friends. Help us grow the community. Thanks very much.